Have you ever wondered what would happen if history didn't just rhyme, but repeated itself exactly, down to the smallest detail? Imagine reliving the exact same events, decisions, and consequences that shaped our world. Would we make the same mistakes or finally learn from them? Today, we're diving deep into this mind-bending question to explore how history repeating exactly could change everything we know about time, choice, and fate. If you love unraveling mysteries of the past and imagining alternate futures, hit that subscribe button now and join the journey into the cycles of time that may define us all. 1. The cycle of empires. Throughout history, empires have risen and fallen in a seemingly endless cycle. If history repeated itself exactly, great powers like Rome or the British Empire would emerge again with the same ambitions and downfalls. The reasons for the rise: economic growth, military innovation, cultural influence would be mirrored perfectly. Likewise, the internal corruption, overexpansion, and external invasions leading to their collapse would also replay. Would this mean humanity is doomed to repeat the same mistakes, or could awareness break the cycle? The cycle of empires might also suggest a natural pattern of human civilization's growth and decay, deeply tied to our social structures. 2. Repeated revolutions. Revolutions have shaped the world by overthrowing unjust systems. But if history repeated exactly, every uprising would recur with the same causes and outcomes. From the French Revolution's chaos to the American fight for independence, the same grievances and battles would unfold again. Would the new generations tolerate the same oppression, or could this exact repetition spark deeper understanding? The social and economic pressures driving revolution, inequality, corruption, desire for freedom would be constants across time. The exact repetition of revolutions also forces us to consider if true progress is possible, or if history is a loop of hope and disillusionment. 3. Economic booms and busts. The boom and bust cycles of economies have plagued societies for centuries. If history repeated itself exactly, every financial crisis, from the Great Depression to the 2008 crash, would happen again, triggered by the same factors like speculation, greed, and market failures. Prosperity would rise, fueled by innovation and optimism, only to collapse under the weight of debt and panic in an unchanging pattern. Would financial institutions learn from these repeated disasters, or would history's exact replay ensure the same mistakes? This repetition suggests economic systems may be inherently unstable, driven by human psychology and structural flaws. 4. The spread of pandemics. History has been marked by devastating pandemics, and if they repeated exactly, plagues like the Black Death or the 1918 flu would strike again with identical timing, spread, and impact. The same fear, loss, and societal disruption would ripple across populations worldwide. Would modern science and medicine be powerless against a repetition, or could preparedness and knowledge alter the course? The psychological trauma and social upheaval caused by these pandemics would echo perfectly in the exact repetition. How societies respond through quarantine, scapegoating, or solidarity would also mirror the past. The repetition of pandemics underscores the vulnerability of global health systems and the need for resilience. 5. Technological revolutions reborn. Every technological revolution has reshaped societies, from the Industrial Revolution to the digital age. If history repeated itself exactly, each breakthrough: steam engines, electricity, the internet would arise at the same pace, changing the world in identical ways. The societal disruptions, opportunities, and resistance to change would also echo perfectly. Would repeated innovation mean humanity cycles through the same patterns of excitement and fear toward technology? The impact on labor, culture, and politics would be identical, suggesting a deterministic relationship between technology and society. This repetition might also predict when and how future breakthroughs will challenge us. 6. Wars and peace treaties. History's great wars and the peace treaties that followed have shaped borders and alliances. If history repeated itself exactly, every conflict from World War I to the Cold War would occur with the same alliances, battles, and outcomes. The suffering, heroism, and political shifts would mirror the past. Would nations make the same strategic errors, Or could they learn to avoid the bloodshed? The cycles of war and uneasy peace suggest a repeating pattern of human conflict and diplomacy. This exact repetition might make us question whether peace is truly possible or just a temporary pause in an endless loop of rivalry. The treaties signed to end wars often plant the seeds for future conflicts, and in repetition, this vicious cycle becomes unavoidable. The repeated experience of war also impacts generations with trauma and nationalism that reignite hostilities. 7. Cultural Renaissance recurring. Periods of cultural renaissance, like the Renaissance or the Harlem Renaissance, spark creativity and rebirth. If history repeated exactly, these bursts of artistic, scientific, and intellectual flourishing would happen again in the same regions and periods. The same masters would create the same masterpieces, and the same ideas would inspire societies anew. This repetition suggests culture, like nature, follows cyclical patterns of growth, decay, and rebirth. The impact on human thought, politics, and identity would be profound and identical. Would artists and thinkers have the freedom to innovate, or would the repetition stifle originality? The replay of cultural renaissances might hint that creativity is both timeless and cyclical. 8. Environmental changes cycle. The planet has undergone dramatic environmental changes, like ice ages and warming periods. If history repeated exactly, these climate shifts and natural disasters would occur with the same intensity and timeline. The same species would thrive or vanish, and ecosystems would cycle through destruction and recovery. Human societies would face identical challenges in adapting to changing environments. Would knowledge of the past cycles help us survive better, or would the repetition trap us in environmental crisis? The exact repetition of environmental change underscores the fragile balance between nature and civilization. It also reflects humanity's ongoing struggle to live sustainably. This cyclical view of climate invites reflection on whether we are stewards or just temporary guests on Earth. 9. Social norms and traditions replay. Social customs, norms, and traditions evolve, but also repeat across generations. If history repeated exactly, the same festivals, rituals, and societal rules would come alive again in the same places and times. The same social conflicts over gender roles, class, and race would also recur. Would the repetition reinforce outdated beliefs or allow cultures to preserve their heritage? These cyclical social patterns highlight the tension between change and continuity in human communities. They also reveal how identity is tied to shared practices that transcend time. 10. The persistence of human nature. If history repeated itself exactly, it would prove that human nature remains constant despite the passage of time. The same desires, fears, ambitions, and flaws would drive every decision, relationship, and conflict. This constancy suggests that while technology and societies change, the core of humanity does not. We would see the same struggles for power, love, freedom, and survival playing out in perfect loops. This idea challenges the notion of progress, implying that human nature's complexity resists change. It could be comforting to know some things never change, or frightening to realize we are bound to repeat errors. So what if history repeated itself exactly every event, every decision, every triumph and tragedy playing out once more? Would we be doomed to walk the same paths, or could this knowledge be the key to breaking free from the endless cycle? As we explore this fascinating and sometimes unsettling idea, remember that understanding the past is the first step toward shaping a different future. If you enjoyed this deep dive into time's mysteries and want to keep unraveling the puzzles of our world, make sure to hit that subscribe button now. Stay curious, question everything, and together we'll explore what history teaches us about who we are and where we're headed.